Welcome to Perspectives in Mobile, the news podcast from the Mobile Ecosystem Forum. Join us discussing the world of telecommunications, technology, and mobile innovations. From London, Dario Betti, MEF CEO.
Hello and welcome everyone to Perspectives, the podcast from the Mobile Ecosystem Forum. I'm looking at the people, the events, the opinions that are shaping the industry of mobile telecoms. Today, however, we're going deeper down to the next level because we have one of the company that is also reshaping, but the wholesale telecom market as well. Very happy to welcome here Patrick George, the CEO of iBasis, and somebody you know very well from his career in iBasis, the fund, etc. And Patrick, this is the second podcast with us. What a pleasure to have you again. And this time it's me asking the question, so pleasure for me as well. How are you, Patrick? First of all, you've been traveling, I have been hearing.
Yes, traveling a lot, working a lot, even during the summer, to be able to announce this wonderful deal. So you can imagine that when you do a deal with Australia and people in Asia Pac region where you are based in Europe during the holiday period, it was a lot of flexibility from all the team on our side to work during the holiday, doing a very early call in the morning for the European people, very late call in the evening for American colleagues to interact with our partners of Telstra and Telstra International. So that was a busy summer, but I guess we are tired, but for the good reason. So I will not complain.
Tired, but reason to celebrate. And we're going to be talking about that event, which is perfect for this podcast, that the announcement of Telstra. I'm going to be starting, however, with a more generic question for you first. And which kind of, I think, really lead us to that. When Tofan was set up in 2017, and then iBasis, really, you made of consolidation and scale the main strategic pillars of that company, I think. We've heard it before. Now, is that changing with the fact that you are now actively being consolidating a lot of markets? In 2025, is the wholesale market at the end of a consolidation period, or are we just starting?
What I can say is, so the consolidation, especially on the consolidation of the voice, was one of our strategic pillars, because our strategy was from day one to consolidate the voice market and then to be able to use the money generated by voice to invest in other product lines to diversify the source of revenue and to ensure the long-term profitability of the company. So that being said, about your question, is the consolidation ending or beginning? I would say that we never had such a good pipe on the consolidation possibility. Could be acquisition or could be outsourcing deal. Really, I can say that the recent evolution about the VoLTE roaming migration, which somehow remove addressable traffic for people like us, combined to the big investment that most of the players have to do in data and submarine cable, those ones who are active over there, drive really the reflection of companies, can be operators, single operator or big groups, to say that maybe we need to refocus our resources to our top strategic priorities, and then having some people like us who can do the very important but not core activities there. So that's, I guess, something you need to ask to Rory Stasco, but it is something typically he had to focus on the priority, which is new plan for up to 2030, and to allow him to use his capital, his brain time, brain power, and his resource over there. He was looking for somebody to help him to hand over some part of the business. So really, I can say this is a very good moment for us, on this industry about consolidation. The flip side of that coin is, of course, we all know that our market is under strong pressure, the wholesale market. So that's why also it pushed people to realize that they don't have any more the scale, or they have end-of-life equipment. or this business is more and more complex every day, but overall decreasing. So to drive also the reflection about thinking with people like us, about people like us.
Perfect. You mentioned Rory and Telstra, so let's talk about a bit more about this deal. This was an important news in the industry. So we have Telstra on one side, the incumbent telco from in Australia, so an established player, kind of separating itself from is a wholesale assets and handed it over to iBasis. Now that's obviously eventful, but how does that fit into your long-term plan now? You're now operating a global, even more global footprint. Where are you going with that?
Oh, it's really, right in the spot about our strategy, to get more business on our platform. Our respective platforms can be voice, can be messaging, can be IPX, can be IoT, and to somehow to do scales, effect of scales, I guess it was a kind of reward about our continued investment, up to again 2-3 years ago, we continued to invest in our OSS BSS for our voice platform, to stay state of the art player, and in terms of all the feature that we need, especially for those OBR, origin based rating complexity, and really that's really about the core of the strategy. You say that it now we are really global company. I'm very proud of that, because we Asia Pac is the biggest region in the world, the most populated region in the world, and we were historically not that strong. And then when you are not that strong in a region, you always face a kind of go no go or philosophical reflection. The business I do there is not that healthy, so should I put more resource and take a bet, or when we all need to control our costs, am I reducing my tries over there, which is short-term view, because if you reduce the resource when it doesn't work well, there is no reason that it will work better. So that's why here having this, to be able to onboard, we will be able to onboard again once the deal will be regulatory approved. The team of John Sullivan in our team, that will give us, strong presence in business, in relationship, again, because it's a people business, so the way to do business in Asia Pac, in the island business, in the Middle Asia business, in Australia, in New Zealand, is totally different than the way we do business in France, in Netherlands, in Americas, in Maghreb, in Portugal. So that's very important to onboard all those talent. For us, it's a big asset.
Well, I think you just mentioned, and I'm probably going to ask you a bit more. iBasis is known for its position in Europe, in MENA, in Americas, now and Asia Pacific market. There are risks in anything, and you just mentioned that. But in your big pipeline, you didn't pick a new service. You picked the wholesale assets, some of the voice assets you mentioned before, and you picked Asia Pacific. Why now is that the hottest thing? So what was the major driver? Was it really the volumes behind it that you were looking, the geographic expansion, the quality of a team, you should probably say, because you got an established team as well?
To do a good long-term wedding, you need to be two, and here we were interested to do this type of deal. We are still, and we discuss with different players on this planet. But the other side should be also mentally ready and wanting to move on that front. I guess what we all know, we speak about consolidation in this industry since 2006, 7. But to be able to do this type of deal, you need to have, of course, yourself. You need to be flexible, agile, and having the right quality of service and the right ability to scale. But the other side need to have the reflection about what they want to do with the business. Do they know exactly the profitability of this business? Usually when you are in big groups, you have some support function coming from the national team, from some strategic team and all that. So sometimes people doesn't know that well the exact profitability on that front. Also, some other people use wholesale somehow on the revenue line, in their big financial reporting, realistic company, while the EBITDA and the cost is made by the more retail activities. So you need to have all those planets aligned to say that in one moment you have a right, I can say, sponsor in the seller organization, having also an open-minded and very clever person running wholesale to understand that when he does that, he doesn't kill his job. He's bringing to his team a brighter future, because typically wholesale is our core business. From the bell door person to the board, we only focus on our wholesale business. Why? When you do wholesale in a big group, very often you are what we call the fifth wheel of the car, when the big group is about selling retail customer, both consumer and enterprise, and developing, and while wholesale is this complex business with low margin, it's difficult to understand. Here, those people will be able to join a company where what they do is the core business, and that we continue to invest in this business. And that's, I guess, a good stuff. And typically with both the couple of Rory Stasko at Telstra International and John Sullivan running this voice and messaging and IPX organization in Telstra International, the right person, intelligent, realistic, and want to make sure that they get the best for their people and for the long-term profitability of their own company.
Yeah, I like the way you describe it as a marriage, and you're right. Now that you think you're not just doing an acquisition and see you later, you are embedded into their structure and working with them for a long time. So you better be happy with them for a long time relationship. Well, talking about complex relationship, what I probably should mention, Telstra was in the news recently, not as a few weeks ago, but probably a couple of years ago, on its acquisition of Digicel, which moved a bit of their emphasis on the islands, as you just mentioned. Now, I understand that you're going to be then even entering that part, or used to be known as Digicel, which is now run by Telstra, and it's voice again. It's a voice market. So back to that scale business that you're talking about.
Yes. It's about, when we speak about, by the way, both Telstra and Digicel is not only about voice, it's about also some part of the IPX, and then additional service that will pop up left and right, depending on the situation. So definitely it's important. And again, the way those island business see the voice business is totally different from what you see in outbound country, because for them it's about connecting their own country, absorbing all those visitors and allowing them to get the right quality of service. So again, it's exciting for us. It's additional logos, it's additional name on the list, it's additional profile of customer which we can use as an example to show to other prospects. And then the beauty of iBasis is we are a global company. We have a global DNA. I guess we have about 30-ish, 32 or 37 nationalities in iBasis. And as we are present in all the continents, then we can also help our customer by getting somehow the information from the most advanced continent in one technology, and allow that knowledge to be brought to the partner which are in a continent where that particular technology is less developed. And we see that, historically for GSM, Europe was a front runner. As soon as we speak 5G, Europe is lagging behind, and Asia and America are front runner. About RCS, there's some region in the world where it's much more developed, and while in some other countries not even open. Same stuff about IoT, how can you do that? So that's also where this partnership, because that's a strategic partnership. We are not only a supplier, we are a supplier. We are buying from them. For example, we will buy a lot from Telstra International additional capacity business, which it's an important part of Rory's business. And that's the way we help each other, to do that. And that's why this island business is key for us, on top of the Telstra National.
You mentioned that is in your plans. It's not just voice, but there is voice as a way to invest into other services. And you're coming again, Asia Pacific. You've been spending a lot of time there, and more recently, big news as well. iBasis is now operating with Excel Smart in Indonesia. Well, the new, by the way, Excel Smart joint venture right now between Axiata and Smart as well, so a new player. But then you're doing a new service. You're managing mobile authentication services. I say new in inverted commas there. Tell us more about that. Actually, probably I should ask you first, is the SMS or is it network APIs as those authentication services? Is it both?
It's about messaging, So it's about authentication services, and there are different technologies. I will not say that we will cover all technologies, but we cover a lot of them. It can be how do you address flash call, how do you play with WhatsApp for business, how do you play with SMS A2P, how do you play with text to speech, or short duration call, all of that. And that's, I'm very proud of this one. I mean, it has been really made by two of our brilliant people, Bobby Lim and Lita Basilian, product management for Lita, and Bobby, our person in Asia. Really hands in hand with the Excel Smart people. The whole story about that is Excel Smart realize that for them, the authentication market is very important, but different channel, and some of them are totally out of their scope. They are somehow, I would not say abused, but some of the channel go directly via the OTTs where the operator doesn't have any money. Some of the people were trying with flash call to go via the back door to get a cheap way to reach customer. And here the goal is really to protect all those different channels and to make sure that the operator gets his well-deserved part of the value creation. Making sure that, for example, if you take a flash call is going via the wrong door, you can block it, and then having a good channel, official channel, where the operator will make money out of it and ensure the quality for the brand who want to use this channel for part of the service and all of that. And that's really cooperating together with the operator about making sure that they are not abused by some of our creative colleagues in the industry, but that we will be able to create additional, stable, new revenue stream for them.
Well, we've been talking a lot about the markets and the exciting things you've done to reshape markets. Let's talk about iBasis itself right now, because internally, I'm sure people might know, but externally, everybody's excited. This is quite a redefining moment for your company as well. How will iBasis look like after the acquisition? You already mentioned the team. Are you going to have a separate Asia Pacific division, keeping the Telstra Wholesale as is, or reshuffling a bit your team? What's, if anything, is available? Is your strategy there?
First of all, as we speak today, we still didn't get the regulatory approval.
Sure.
So what I can only tell you, it was our vision at the beginning, but of course, until this regulatory approval happened, we are two separate competing companies. So just very clear. So what I will say is, I try to project myself in the world after that. That's a little caveat. So it's two parameters. I guess if you want to play the scale game, you need to make sure that you have one platform. And when we mean by one platform, is one intelligence. And we know, thanks to all the development and the investment that we have made, that we have virtualized our platforms, So the intelligence can be decentralized. You can add additional blade left and right to cope about that. So, but having one platform per service, one for voice, one for messaging, one for IPX, one for signaling 3G, 4G, 5G, and all of that. So that's in terms of platform, we will be one platform. In terms of commercial and customer support organization, of course, the challenge of the time difference. I mean, they are between Paris, and Sydney, there are 8 hours time difference in the summer, in our summer, because they have different
Yes.
summer, and 10 hours in their summer, which is our winter. So we need to make sure that we serve those customers as good as we serve those KPN, those SFR, those MIO, those NOSH, those Tele Denmark of that world, and all our customers. So that's why, of course, we will make all the investment with dedicated resource at the right place to speak the right language with the right regional view to support that. So it's not only a commercial organization that will be running the all Asia Pac region, but also, again, some support function will be a service manager to make sure that our friend from Telstra get the premium usual iBasis services. The same for the island business, the same for all other customers over there. So that's a mix of that. And again, the ambition, if everything goes well, is to make sure that John Sullivan, which is, I mean, an unbelievable professional person, will run this Asia Pac somehow organization, which is more than commercial, but it will not run operation. We have one operation. Edwin Van Ierland is the CEO of the whole company, will remain, of course. But, of course, John will be able to push and make sure that to defend the interest and the quality of his customer.
Okay, so we will wait for the right time, as you say, when these things can happen. But it sounds like a single or simplified platforms. But in terms of teams, we might have a different structure definitely there. And that brings us to not just the input, but the output. So talking back about iBasis, what I suspect many numbers will change now in your balance sheet, etc. But what will be the KPIs, the things that you want to focus on for your strategy, this implementation? Is it more revenue growth? Is it clients growth? Is it margins? What would be driving these deals?
First of all, the first, and somehow the only important KPIs is the quality of service towards the customer. Because again, when you are iBasis, you don't own any mobile operator, you don't own any other player in the world. So every single penny that we make as a business, we own it because the customer chooses us because of our quality of service and price ratio. So that's why no single, I can say, concession on quality for the customer. Very important. Then about your traditional KPI, those revenue, client margin, EBITDA and all that. We are a private company. I mean, we play with our own money. And of course, we have financial player behind us, but I put my savings, my little savings there. And so for us, it's margin, margin we created, it's EBITDA we created, it's value we created. Of course, the clients, adding clients is important because this is the way you reinforce your image and the use case that you can address. Revenue is not a target for us because the whole business is run for margin, but we need to be fair. It's a scale business, so having volumes at least is important to make sure that you continue to fill this wholesale voice business, this SMS messaging business, and all of that. But priority number one, quality, number of clients, and margins. That's where matter for us.
So we started this call when you mentioning that there's not just the voice, there's not just the mature services, there are many other services coming. May I ask you then, potentially some of the things you've heard, I mean, reshaping some of the excitement of this world is 5G roaming, eSIM. Some people say exciting, some people say probably hyped, but I don't know. Where are you? Are you on the exciting level? Do you see what's happening with eSIM and 5G roaming, and you think of that exciting for you to be more and more involved?
I mean, it's sounds of deja vu. It's I'm in this wholesale business since 1999, and so I was part of one of the first company who have tried to launch GRX in 2001, and then at that time you're supposed to have the GPRS, which was data on mobile. Guess what? It's unbelievable. And then remember very well that the GSMA was asking us in the first GRX task force in November 2001, guys, you need to be ready in 1 quarter because the whole industry will go full speed on that. I mean, it took us, I guess, 5 years, 6 years to get a kind of, not even a decent volume, but just something you can see, you see? Then when the migration of, when 4G happened, again, at the beginning, you fight for market share, but in terms of the, you can say the graph, the money that you make on 4G appears after 2-3 years. Same stuff for 5G, especially with 5G. When you speak about 5G roaming from a wholesale point of view, is you need to speak about 5G SA roaming, because the 5G NSA roaming somehow is viewed from the wholesale side as a 4G. You know? And so this 5G SA begin left, right. Some people mention some tests left and right. There are some corridor to begin to happen. And of course, we are all in on that. You know, Maïssa Jamli, our product director on that, is full speed on that, discussing with the customer, discussing with the peer, because we need also to align between GRX. And for example, that's why in this Telstra deal, 5G, even Telstra didn't launch yet the 5G SA, is part of the scope for the relationship for the long run with them. So definitely something we invest on. Will it be big? I mean, we all hope. But I guess it's fair to say that today, I mean, killer app in terms of 5G SA use cases didn't materialize yet, left or right. But there are some cars, business, and all of that. But yes, we are all in on that. About eSIM, definitely. I mean, we need to be precise about what you mean when you ask me about eSIM. So we are in eSIM from day one on our IoT business. It was the technology choice we made in 2018. I mean, even prior to the acquisition of iBasis. So it was they did that. So that was our way to deliver IoT services with a different profile we get from our partner. And now about the eSIM, you mean travel SIM probably for consumer. It's something, yes, we jump on that boat. There are some big volume to address. There are some, you can say, solution to provide to different players. Here, our positioning is we are doing business with mobile operator forever. We are paying our bill forever. So they know us very well. We have people like Nicolas Barret, who used to run the wholesale business, the roaming business of Altis, Manuela Chimoes from Mio. So we know very well about roaming, and that we can be a very good sales agent for the mobile operator to sell their profile all over the world, and also an enabler for those mobile operator or for some player who need somebody to solve for them the complexity of the different roaming profile and that. So yes, of course, we are also all in on that, and we have a lot of recent wins about it. So definitely something exciting for us.
And more to hear from you. I will potentially, don't know it, does he mention something that might have still stolen the thunder at one point in the last few days in the telecom news, which is the question of security. And I would even say reliability. Another player in Australia, Optus, had a massive outage in its system. We heard in New York, massive attempt potentially to destabilize a UN gathering. We heard from SKT having its core identity and security under pressure. Is security reshaping wholesale as much now as the rest of the telecom? Are things changing now?
Of course, you cannot ignore it. You know, and a different type of attack is try to steal some profile, is try to have some DDoS attack, is ransomware. I mean, everything happened. And our goal is to do the best to protect first ourselves as an organization, and then to help our customer to be protected. And it can be on about the security on signaling, the security about the DDoS against DDoS, the security about to protect the profile, the security about fraud, about hacking and all of that. I guess nobody has a perfect solution, but it's to be on the ball rapidly, to work with technological partners which are much more clever than us, and then we can bring this knowledge to operator. It's bringing penetration tests to operator to help them to realize how good or well they are protected, or maybe because the fraudster never stop. Okay, maybe you think you were protected from last year, but now we find some gap that together, or only you or together, we can address to protect you. So definitely something very important. Problem happen, never ever you will hear me about commenting about a problem happening to one of my peers in industry, because it can happen to us. It has happened to us in the past. It will probably happen to us in the future. But the goal is to be as flexible and as reactive as possible when something happens, and to be constantly open and all that. We have reinforced our security organization, and we learn from all the events, all what happened left and right to do that. And also, I guess, good collaboration between the different industry members on that front. But definitely something very important.
Well, we MEF like that word, collaboration. That sounds great. So, I should say some well-deserved rest for you, Patrick, even you've been flying all over from Asia Pacific. But I would say also congratulations on the big announcement, and more excitement, it seems, from iBasis and others. More challenges are coming. We might have to come back and ask you some more questions later on. You have a last word, I think?
Yes, can I just a last word? Because we speak about this deal, a lot. It's very good for us. But very important to mention that in a company like us, all the other people, which is the big majority, would not work on this sexy new deal, but work every day to make sure that we deliver the right quality of service to our customer, to be able to sell it, to invoice it, to repair it, to monitor it, to have the legal support, the HR, to have the right resource, the business operation for the routing and the decision, all of that. Everybody is important. It's a family that we have. Our industry is a family also, but it's very important to realize that this work in the shade is the most important, because without that, we have no value proposal to come. Here, for example, some of our outsourcing customers have gave testimony to Telstra about how much they like to work with us, and that was the best sales argument that we had, long-term partner renewing with us, all of them, and be able to testimony and wanted to testimony to a new potential ally for us on that front. And again, that's only possible because of the dedication every single day, and even sometimes very often nights, of each and every employee of iBasis. So very important to mention that.
So let's say a big congratulations to the entire team then at iBasis for this episode of Perspective. That's all. But thanks again to Patrick and to iBasis as a whole. Until the next time, bye-bye.
Thank you, Dario. I wish you a great day, and to all the listeners and your members. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Perspectives in Mobile. Join us next as we explore telecoms, technology, and mobile innovations. Stay tuned, stay connected, and let's unlock the mobile potential together.